Hey, what's up, guys? I'm going to run through a pretty basic but somewhat detailed video on how to create like a modern Web 2.0, somewhat techie logo, full logo design, all using Photoshop. Now, a lot of people in the industry will prefer Illustrator to create logos. You have more flexibility. It's fewer steps. It's vector based, which means you can scale it, to a half inch or 10 feet, and it's still going to show up just fine. But you can certainly design logos in Photoshop. It's just a few extra steps, a few different things you have to do, but the final outcome will look pretty good. So let me just go ahead and fire up a new document, open up Photoshop. I'm going to make like a 800 by 800 pixel document. If this is going to be used strictly for web design, resolution, you're never really going to need to go above 150 if it's going to live on the web. So make your resolution 150, make sure you got RGB colors checked off, and go ahead and open up a new document. So I kind of made up a fake business name. I'm going to call this Tech Pros, and that's going to be the logo that I'm going to make. So first things first, I think it would look cool to have this on a dark background. You can certainly use any background you want, and it's good practice to keep your logo on no background, on a transparent background. That way you can use your logo on any type of different color background you want. So I'm going to go ahead and just put a dark background on another layer. So if you saw what I just did, come over here to the right. I double clicked the original layer, turned it and unlocked it, which turns it into an editable layer. And then I just went ahead and created a new one above it. This is where I'm going to create the logo. So come down to the bottom layer. Right now it's got a white background fill. Come over here to the left to your color box, click that. I'm just going to do solid black, as dark as we can get. Hit OK. Find your paint bucket tool over here on the left. Go ahead and click that. So we're going to start on a jet black background. So, first things first, like I said, I'm going to produce a logo for a fake business called Tech Pros. So first things first, you want to choose a good font, kind of represents your business. You want to kind of match the font style to what you do or whatever the industry is. Obviously if you're like a accountant or a consultant, you don't want to use something too bright and Web 2.0 and a lot of effects and highlights and stuff like that. It's just, it's not going to look right. So for our purposes, I think it should look a little bit on the fun side, very modern, engaging colors. You want to have a good color scheme. That's kind of the key to starting a new business logo, is you want to pick colors that you're going to want to use throughout your whole branding campaign. So your website, your business cards, your Facebook page, everything should match and be consistent in terms of color. That's kind of important. It starts to create a brand once you follow consistencies with different marketing pieces. So all right, first things first, go ahead and pick your type tool. Come down to make sure your character panel is open. That's what helps you edit all the different font sizes and all that kind of stuff. I have a million fonts downloaded on my computer, so I don't expect you guys to have very many. So I'm going to start with a font that pretty much everybody has on their computer. It's a nice sans serif font. I'm just going to use like a really generic Arial black. I think it's a pretty clean font. Go ahead and pick that. And like I said, the name of this fake business I'm going to create is going to be called Tech Pros. Alright, now I just typed it out. And the reason you don't see it right now is because if you come down to your character panel down here, the color I've chosen for this logo is black. So obviously black on black does not show up. Click on that. Let's just start by making it white so it shows up and we can edit it. And we'll throw some color in toward the end. So hit OK. Tech Pros. Okay, now right now this is kind of boring. I'm going to blow this up. I'm on a Mac computer, so I always hit Command T. That hits the transform tool. Grab a corner, hold shift, and click, and it proportionately scales your logo. So I'm going to blow it up nice and big so everybody can see it. So right now it's not doing very much. It's kind of boring. The spacing in between the letters is kind of ugly. So that's the first thing I like to do when you create a new logo. Get the spacing in between the letters to look kind of nice. I'm a big fan of making things nice and tight. I think it has a nice look to it. So to do that in Photoshop, again in your character panel, come down right here to your tracking, which is this one right here. It says the AV line. That's the space in between your letters. Right now I have mine default set to 75 for whatever reason. Come down and make it like -25. Okay, as you can see, it tightens it up nice and tight. I want to make it a little tighter than that. Let's make it like -35. Real nice and tight. You know what? -50. That's where I'll draw the line. Yeah, already it looks a little bit better. It's kind of cool. So I'm going to create a graphic to go with this to kind of jazz it up so it's not just text. I don't like creating logos that are purely stock fonts. You know what I mean? It looks better when you customize your font a little bit. You know, do some cool stuff to it to make it stand out a little bit. I'm going to do a couple things to this font to make it unique and make it really stand out for this project. But first, to do that, you can't edit a font as it is. I mean, you just can't do that in Photoshop. So you have to basically turn this font into a graphic so that you can edit this graphic. So it's no longer going to be editable text, all right? So to do that, you're going to want to go to Layer, Rasterize, Type. Okay, we just turned this from editable text into a flat graphic that we can now play with and do some cool stuff to. I'm looking at this, and the first thing I want to do is I want to customize like the T. I want to make this stand out. I want to put like a signature look on this T. There's a million ways to do it in Photoshop. I think the easiest way to do this, I'm gonna like extend the T. I'm gonna kind of make it like a sharp point over here, just to kind of jazz it up a little bit, make it interesting. So for me to achieve that look, we're gonna do, I think the easiest way for me to do that, come up here to your top left, select the rectangle marquee tool. Now, I'm gonna extend this part of the T out to here a little bit, and then I'm gonna kind of like chop off a corner and make it look like a cool custom font. So to do that, I'm just gonna take my rectangle tool, and I'm gonna kind of trace right on the line where my T letter goes. Okay, edge to edge, just like that. Oh, and I have a feather. All right, that's a good example. I have a 1 pixel feather right now selected for my marquee tool because of other projects that I do. Basically puts it puts a soft border around anything that you're doing. We don't want that for this, so make sure your feather is set to 0 so it does not do anything like that. Okay, so come back here, extend this out a little bit, trace this part of the T edge to edge. Okay, now we got a nice rectangle box here. I'm going to select the white color because obviously I'm going to extend the T. Now come over here to a new layer. I always like to make non-permanent changes to files when I use Photoshop, so I use a ton of layers so that I'm never screwing up the original layer. Come over here, make a new layer, come back to the paint bucket tool. We got white selected, click it. Okay, now you can see that it extends over here, and I'm just going to kind of do something funky to it. Come over here just below the marquee tool to your lasso tool. Select the second one down, polygonal lasso tool. And I'm going to put a sharp edge on this T just to make it look kind of cool and custom. So I'm basically going to chop this off diagonally right here. Okay, and to do that, I'm going to end it right about here. So I'm going to click here, and I'm going to hit Shift, and when I do that, it's going to make a perfect 45-degree horizontal slice. Okay, and I'm going to click another point here because now I want to end it there. Okay, come over here, and you always want to come right back to where you started. And you'll notice when you do that, as soon as you come back to your original point in Photoshop, a little circle appears, and that lets you know that you're back on your original. Go ahead and click it. So we have all that selected. I'm going to go ahead, and I'm still on this layer right here where I just created that. I'm just going to delete it. So there we go. Tech Pros. It's already looking pretty nice. Looks very custom to me. I like that. I'm gonna keep that as is, just to keep this video nice and short. And we're gonna put a nice graphic mark on this, and then we're gonna wrap it up with putting some custom colors on it. So right now, that layer we just created, it's a separate layer from the text. I want to make it all combined into one nice layer so I can make universal changes to the whole thing. So take the two top layers that we were just working with, take those two, go to Layer, Merge Layers. There we go. Now it's on one nice layer. Alright, so I'm going to put on this logo we're working with here, I'm going to make like a nice accent graphic, like a swoosh kind of graphic to go around it like this. Again, there's a million ways to do this in Photoshop. I'm going to try to do this the easiest way possible. Come over to the upper left, go to your elliptical marquee tool. It's your circle tool. Okay. Start a new layer. Come over here to the right. Hit the second one from the right. That's new layer. We'll turn the middle one off so we can see what we're working with here. So to create a nice little swoosh graphic, all we're going to do is create two ovals, overlap them, and delete the excess. So to do that, go ahead and draw yourself out like a nice rectangle tool like this. You can see the marching ants around it. Got our white color selected in the foreground. Go ahead and click the paint bucket. Fill that in with a white color. Okay. Second thing we're going to do is we're going to duplicate this rectangle. Actually, no, there's an easier way to do it. Let's go ahead and create the oval again. Select the elliptical marquee tool again. We're going to create another oval right on top of this. Now, if it doesn't look perfect to you, just go ahead and keep kind of redrawing it until it falls in a position where you think it's going to look nice. Like for me, I'm going to kind of overlap it like that. So I've got a nice space working right here. So if you can picture it, this is the only part of this logo, swoosh, that we're going to keep right here. Okay, so basically right now we have a marching ants running around the graphic. Perfect. We got our layer selected that we're working on for the oval. Let's go ahead and click delete. Boom. Done deal. Now we got a nice little crescent moon swoosh kind of graphic, and I think that'll look nice tucked in with our logo. So let's go ahead and bring back our middle layer. Click the eyeball tool, bring it back. Looks good. I want to kind of make that swoosh graphic a little smaller and a little tighter. So I'm going to go ahead and hit Command T, which is the transform tool. Another way to do that is go to Edit, Transform, go to Scale. Now, just take one of the top boxes right here, click it and just drag it down like that. I want to make it a nice, flat-looking kind of a swoosh graphic. I think that looks pretty cool. So, I'm going to make it a little smaller. I kind of like that right there. Go ahead and hit enter. Make that change permanent. I think it looks kind of cool. Like right now, technically I want this swoosh to be sitting behind the text that we made. So it kind of gives some dimension to your logo. So, alright, first thing we're going to do, let's edit our colors on our Tech Pros logo. So come back to the middle layer. That's our Tech Pros text we got selected. Let's make it a gradient. We'll make two different gradient swatches for this. Right now the whole thing is all connected. So if I make a change to this layer, it's going to make a change to all the text. We don't want that. We only want to select certain parts of this logo to change. I'm going to make two different color changes, one for Tech, one for Pros. Okay, so come over to your square marquee tool. Select just tech. Okay. I'm going to come over here to the layer. Whoops, you know what? That's my mistake. I forgot. Even with the part of the logo selected here, it's going to make a universal change to all the text because it's all on the same layer. Easy way to get around that. Let's break this up into two different layers. Select the part for tech. Okay, we're going to cut it. And you can do edit, cut, whatever's easier for you. Make a new layer, paste it. There you go. Now it's on its own separate layer. Kind of just nudge it up using the arrow tools. Put it right back into place there. All right, now got our layer selected for tech. Come over here to your layer. It's on layer 3. Double click in this area here. We're going to make a layer style change. Double click it. Going to come down here to the gradient overlay. And as soon as you click it, you can tell it defaults to black and white. I'd already put the effect on it. Looks pretty cool. Let's make this like a white to silver kind of a fade. So to do that, click on the gradient box right here. Pulls out the colors for you. We want to go white to gray. So we're almost there. Right now it goes to black. We don't want that. That's too dark. So double click this little black marker thing down here. So we're going to pick a gray color. When you use RGB colors like this, it's almost impossible if you just use the color picker to choose a gray. There really is no gray. So to do that, you just have to know a couple basic color codes. Easy way to do that is come right over here to the CMYK colors. We're working in RGB, so the CMYK doesn't matter. We're just using it to pick a color value. So we're going to make everything 0 except the K. The K stands for black. So we're going to make that like 50% black. As you can see, picked out a nice gray swatch for us. I like that. Hit OK. And hit OK again here. And last but not least, hit OK here. Now you can tell just by looking at it, it's got a nice white to gray fade going on. I like that. So we're going to do the same thing to prose. We're just going to change up the colors on it. So which layer is that? It's this one here, layer 1. Same thing, double click in there. Click gradient overlay. Click the gradient box to pick our colors. Now let's do red for the prose portion of the logo. So click this white, drag that sucker all the way down to the red here. Nice bright red color. Hit OK. And again, it fades to black, which is too dark. We don't want that. So click the black color. You know, if you pick your color picker and you have no idea where you're at, and you're saying, oh, I see green and blue, where's red? I have no idea where red is. Just move things around. Move this slider all the way up to the top, and there it is. You see red at the very bottom left. So go ahead and click in there. And we already have the brightest red selected for the first color, so let's just drag that down a little bit. Make it a little bit of a darker red for the gradient, okay? Hit OK, hit OK again, and hit OK for the last time. So that's it, man. It's looking pretty good already. I like it. And if you noticed, right now, the swoosh is sitting in front of the text. We don't want that. So all you got to do is reverse the layers. Let's figure out what layer we're on here on the swoosh. That's the very top one here. Layers always go visibility wise top to bottom, so the bottom layers are going to be the ones that are behind everything. So go ahead and click that, drag it all the way down to the one second above the last one. Don't drag it all the way down, or you're gonna put it behind our background fill. Now you can't see it. So drag it and click it up to the one above it. There we go. That looks good. I actually want to make this swoosh red to kind of match this, and it'll make it pop a little more. So the final thing we're going to do to the swoosh to make it red, make sure we're on the swoosh layer. Again, click in the blue area. Go ahead and hit color overlay. Oh, and red, I just happen to have it selected already, so we're all good to go. If you want to pick a different color, just click the color box, move it around, do whatever color you want. You can do yellow, whatever. So we'll keep that red, hit OK, hit OK. Boom, that looks good to me. I like that. We'll keep that as is. So final thing to do is just save it out. You can save it as a JPEG, GIF file, PNG. PNG seem to be the most popular one nowadays because it supports a transparent background and it's fairly lossless in terms of file quality, so it holds up pretty well regardless of how big or small you save it. So in Photoshop, to do that, go to File, Save for Web and Devices. Come over here to this drop down box, second one down. Right now it's set to JPEG. Drop it down to a PNG 24. That's a nice one there. And can't really see it, but that's what we're working with. Second one in is the layer I'm on right here, the version for saving it. It's a really nice small size, especially if you're using this for websites. 13K, that's nothing. Nice and small. But as you can see, it's great quality. So you're getting the best of both worlds. So that's it. Go ahead and save it out. Save it on your desktop, and that's it. You're done. All right, thanks guys.